what's happening?
What's happening, Hoke? I'm Glen Young alongside Hal Nunn.
Peace out.
And we are live at our Daily Bread Cafe.
Yep.
For today's special is baked spaghetti. Our show is sponsored by Rockfish Motor Speedway. Now they're idle this week with a bye, but the points are out. We'll have that for you. And Hal, did you let the Irish football?
Let me see. Feels good to me, Glenn.
We're going to talk about that too, as well as Coach Tom Parrish is with us and Jeremy Welsh, the Navy veteran who was declared dead by the VA. He's here with us and he's very much alive.
He's alive. All right. Well,
what you got in sports, man?
Well,
let's talk some weather, I guess.
We talk weather. The weather today is absolutely drop dead gorgeous. So don't drop dead and get knocked off the rolls at the VA. But it's absolutely beautiful outside. I bet Coach Parrish is going to have a good time with these kids this weekend. As
with the freshman combine? Yes, from 9 to 12, 9 to noon.
Yeah.
And then followed by a parent meeting. So yeah, the weather looks good. Slight chance of rain.
Yeah, according to my
not going to have 78 degrees.
My WRAL weather app says partly cloudy, 76 degrees, sunny and partly cloudy. Friday, 80 degrees. Saturday, 80 degrees. Sunday, 80 degrees.
Yeah.
I could get used to this.
But what got me was like 90 on Monday and Tuesday.
It got a little toasty.
Last night, man, it was freezing.
Yeah.
I'm like, what happened?
Wait 10 minutes. You know what they say about North Carolina? Wait 10 minutes and the weather will change. And you know, I wonder when the latest snow we ever had was in this state. I think I'll find out. That's something we can look up.
I know early Monday and Tuesday of next week we're going to be back in the 90s. So yeah,
I have to get acclimated.
I think the algae, issues are declining, or the algae pollen count is, if you will. And now the heat is getting up there, and yeah, summer is on its way.
Yeah, yes. Well, so is the beach, because we'll be heading to the beach pretty soon. But that's our weather. It looks really good. If you'd like to sponsor the weather, let us know, and we'll do that and get that out there for you. A couple stories this week in the news journals. Shameless plug. The bridge work will close on NC 211. There's 2 bridges they're going to be working on. I don't know the exact spot on them. Get yourself a copy of the paper and check that story out, because you're going to have to be rerouted, and you're not going to like it. If you go down here on Camden Road anytime here in the last little bit, between Rockfish and Stony Point, they're paving the road. How did they get their project so quick? You know what I'm saying?
Speaking of which, I'm glad you mentioned that. State Patrol is out in full force. Again today on Lindsay Road. And I gotta believe it's part of the DOT meeting that was held in the Rockfish community meeting about the congestion of the traffic.
It's crazy.
About how bad it is. What concerns me now is, and that meeting is next Thursday, is that no traffic count has been done.
Still?
No. And that needs to be done before the DOT meeting in June if they expect any kind of change, because the traffic count will drive, how urgent this problem is.
I know who they can contract to do the count.
Who's that?
Glen Young and Hal Nunn, because I'll be glad to sit out there.
We'll go out there again with the video again. Maybe we'll go back out there and do it. Maybe I'll talk to the state trooper.
Well, we can count cars. We can video.
Too easy.
All right, anyway.
In all seriousness, that needs to happen, because
they
if they do the traffic
count
after school is out,
it's going to be a big difference.
Non-issue. Yeah, big difference in the traffic, and it's like, hey, your problem's really not that bad.
So school is getting close to being out. Got awards nights starting to happen at all the schools. Speaking of the schools, there was a breaking news today at lunchtime that 2 teens from Hoke County have been charged with a sexual assault. I don't know the names, don't really want to know the names. We need to make sure our young men act accordingly and do what they need to do. I guarantee you they weren't football players.
Another tough story. Well, I'll tell you one thing, if they were, they won't be
anytime soon.
They're not even going to be students anytime soon.
That's true. A story that I saw today across the email list was Cape Fear Valley, the new hospital in Hoke. Wait times. One lady took her kid in there and waited 17 hours for a head injury. My question is, I know it's not really a good analysis or comparison, but a 17-year-old, a mom takes her kid in on a head injury. It takes them 17 hours to diagnose with a concussion. What if it was Tom Brady and he got hit in the head on Sunday afternoon? How long would it take him?
Well, one thing, he wouldn't have fumbled the football because he didn't have to hold on to it. But it would have been immediate. But then it's a little bit, maybe it's not a good.
It's not a great analogy,
that's pros. You go down to college and talk to high school.
But 17 hours.
But then I gotta say, was this a sports-related injury?
Yeah, I don't know.
Because if it was a sports-related injury coming from the high school, I gotta, he would have got on-site
it would have been taken care of.
And it would have been taken care of. But this injury happened like at home, something like that, and that's no excuse. I mean, 17 hours.
Yeah, that's
and he did have a concussion.
That's a little bit much.
And there are 4 hospitals between Cape Fear Medical and you drive down 401
and
to get to more regional.
Cares. Maybe
emergency care, Womack.
They say emergency care is one thing that we need, and maybe it needs to have an express care. It's possible.
It needs to be immediate.
One other news story I wanted to make sure we talked about, and I think you wanted to mention the meeting for the community, was out at the Rayford Airport. Have you ever heard of swooping?
No.
The paratroopers, when they come in and swoop on the water and they go on the land, they're going to have one of those this weekend out at the Rayford Airport, and I got us a new idea for some video.
Okay, what's that?
Going out to the airport and catching some of these guys in action.
I wish I could have caught it about 2 weeks ago. I'm coming by the airport, the guy was stuck in the tree.
Yeah,
so
I remember
he obviously didn't steer. He was hung up in the tree, so yeah, I would have loved
to a little too wide. What else you got?
One story I want to talk about, and this is a shout out and something we talked about last year to the Hoke County Sheriff Department, that they had the lapel or the cameras.
Body cam. Okay,
Wake counties are just now debating on getting that.
Oh, it's a lot bigger.
We've had it, okay, well, they still had a year. And when you look at how much in the news that body cam has been and all the incidents involved to validate the officer or incriminate the officer.
It can go either way.
It's an important thing to have.
I think it's great. That's good foresight on Sheriff Peterkin to do that.
Yeah, it was. I mean,
but we are dealing with a smaller force. We are dealing with a smaller
still
force. Money.
Still, with everything that was in, well, I would think they got more money than us.
They got a whole lot more than us.
Okay, so I don't let them off the hook with that.
And the body cams, I just wish I was part of the company that came up with the idea.
Oh man, and the resource officers have them, of course, in the school, and then of course your regular traffic stops and officers that are on patrol and have them as well. Right. It's a good thing.
Rockfish community meeting next week, Thursday.
Next Thursday, the 21st at 6:30, out here at the U-Haul building. Again, no resolution, and we've been tracking it on the traffic congestion, specifically the traffic count. So that'll be another heated topic. I'm gonna try to be there to video that. I gotta go down to Fort Jackson and see my daughter graduate from AIT. So I will try to get back though for the 6:30 meeting.
All right, we take a break, come back and talk a little sports with Coach Tom Paris, Glenn Young, Hal Nunn. What's happening, Hoke? We'll be back in a second. What's happening, Hoke? We're back at our Daily Bread Cafe. Hal Nunn, Glenn Young, and head coach from Hoke County High School, Tom Paris. We are sponsored by Rockfish Speedway and Rockfish Motorsports. And come by today and try the baked spaghetti, or any Thursday since we're
mine is on the way.
And the baked spaghetti is on the way.
Right now.
I don't know if the coach is going to have time to sit and eat, but Glenn's going to enjoy some later on. But,
always.
You wanted to ask Coach, before we get into Hoke County High School, you wanted to ask Coach some questions about deflated balls, I guess.
Get the ball first.
We're talking about.
Bottom line, Tom Brady, and did he get his appeal in?
Yes, this afternoon.
He had to be in by 3:30. Players Association
filed his appeal.
Suspended for 4 games.
Yep.
Team filed $1 million, fined $1 million.
Lost a couple
draft picks. Here's my thing. So Tom Brady, and I'm not vouching for Tom Brady. I'm not really
just having a good
supporting him because I want Seattle to win. So if they win, maybe we're not talking about this at all. But let's get to it. So if the quarterback is suspended, the running back should have been suspended. The receiver should have been suspended, and the center. All of them touched the ball. A deflated ball helps the running back to get his 3 points of contact. Am I right, Coach? 3 points of contact. Keeps him from getting it ripped out. The center enables him to grip, and enables the wide receiver to hold on to it. So those guys should have been gone too, right?
Question.
So
why is Tom Brady the the decider of the ball pressure. I mean,
No, it's not.
It seems to me like it would have been a team equipment issue.
Yeah.
And they
well, the
fired
equipment manager, he was fired, right?
He was fired, but why Tom? That's what I'm saying. Why?
And when did the referees check the ball and they noticed this at halftime?
Maybe this coach give me an idea.
Yeah.
Why do you think the quarterback became responsible for this? Is it his job to make sure they're inflated to the proper?
And in week 7, week 18 playoff game, you know.
The bottom line, and this is just my opinion,
Okay.
That's fair.
the NFL, in its attempt to fight the PR battle, which has proven to be a little bit of a nightmare for them during the past year.
Yeah, it's been a little hot water.
You know, they're trying to set a precedent, and sometimes I guess leadership feels like they got to make an example of someone in order to set that precedent. The problem that I have with what they're doing, I know before every game we play, before every game we play, we have designated game balls.
Right.
And the officials have to check our game balls. And
Do they use a little digital meter?
every one of them asks me, Coach, where are your game balls? And usually all 4 of them are over there sitting neatly on the sideline at the 50 so that they can go check them. They go check them, you know, they pick them up. Sometimes they'll come over and they'll say, you know, Coach, and we number our balls, you know, they're branded and they're numbered. And they'll say, Coach, you know, ball number 2 or ball number 7 feels like it needs a little air in it. And so, you know, we designate the equipment manager, okay, put the air in it. I don't care.
Let's move on.
Obviously, a slightly underinflated ball could be easier to possess and to hang on to.
Especially in a wet game.
Does it make?
Oh, no doubt. Or cold.
Does it make that big of a difference? I would argue on a professional level, no.
Okay.
I would argue no. But along those lines too, why is the NFL Referees Association not being held to account? Because if the North Carolina High School Athletic Association and the NCAA mandates official inspection and approval of the ball, obviously those balls were approved for 30 minutes of play.
Yeah.
That's pretty.
So, you know, those who are charged with policing the environment, the game environment itself,
Missed a step somewhere.
you know, you don't hear anything about the officials.
Well, you can't talk about it.
And it's a playoff game. What happened in weeks 1 through 17?
But by the same respect,
You know,
and
same
here's the
thing.
thing. In the game in question, where the balls were supposedly underinflated, and they were obviously inflated for the second half to consistent capacity, Brady and the Patriots had a better game in the second half than they did in the first half with the underinflated balls.
Yeah.
So it's almost like it defeats the purpose of the argument that Brady should have been fined. It just defeats it. And the point about the officials is the part about, and you know, y'all seen me in sporting events when my boys played. I rode them, man. I rode them hard. But it's almost like they're untouchable. Even when they make a mistake, it's untouchable. I think you're right. I think the officials, there should have been maybe some light brought on the idea that were the game balls inspected before the game.
Accountability all the way through.
And on the professional level, there is absolutely no doubt in my mind that every single potential edge is pursued.
No doubt.
If-
Look at NASCAR.
If the Patriots had 12
In the spirit of
underinflated
competition,
balls,
yes.
I'd be willing to bet everything I own that at least probably 26 to, I don't know, maybe 31 other teams had underinflated balls at some point.
It's just that the Patriots are that one that Spygate,
All right.
hey, they ain't got a record.
And had the Patriots lost the game, we'd have never heard about it.
Exactly.
We'd have never
One more
heard about
point about Tom Brady.
Oh boy.
Tom Brady, you should have went to see the president. That's all I got to say about it. Now, Marshawn Lynch
Okay.
did not go the year before.
They didn't have any
He
Skittles.
should have went too.
They didn't have any Skittles.
He should have went too. But I'm saying when it's the president,
If the
Yeah,
president
you got-
invited me, I'd have to go.
You gotta go.
I gotta ask him a couple questions. That's
well, respect the office. If you don't respect the man, I don't care.
always
That's
do.
the
I always do. All
commander in chief.
Let's talk about something local. Let's talk about something that you've started new this year in the freshman combine, or the rising, 8th graders? going up to ninth grade. We
Rising ninth graders.
We have rising ninth graders. We now have 3 middle schools in Hoke County. So we should win the state championship next year, right?
We should win it every year.
All right, good.
That's the
what I
goal.
want. I want it too.
That is the goal.
All right. You were starting a combine. What's the intent there?
We actually did. We did a combine last year, but it was really all inclusive. Rising freshmen were allowed to participate, encouraged to participate, but we also did it for sophomores, juniors, and seniors, primarily because we wanted hard data. We wanted to know exactly what we were dealing with because we analyze that stuff as scrupulously as I think you possibly can, because we do want to ensure that we have the right type players in the right spots. We want to make sure that the athletic capabilities are inherent to the positions, especially skill positions.
Oh, no doubt.
And in order to
You need a
max,
baseline? Is that what you did last year?
That's exactly what
you
we did.
established a baseline.
We established a baseline, and so we don't need to do that with our rising sophomores, juniors, and seniors, because all of those young men, they've been in our strength program now for 12 months.
Yeah, a little over 12 months maybe.
We have a lift-a-thon next Wednesday that we're playing up. That'll be at the weight room Wednesday afternoon. It's a big deal. Our kids are real excited about it because we are stronger. With the improvements that have been made to our strength facility and the hard work that Coach Jorgensen and our coaches have put in with them.
And the new weight room. Let's not forget.
Well, and that's what I'm talking about. The new weight room.
State of the art.
Yeah, I mean, we have got there are some colleges that wishes they had the equipment that we have in our new weight room. Tom Paris, the head coach of Hoke County Fighting Bucks, Glenn Young, a couple other things we wanted to talk about. Spring practices, we've got a new rule now. Tell us a little bit about what Hoke County is going to do within this element.
The High School Athletic Association changed the spring skill development rule in that previously, before this year, we could do unlimited numbers of days with limited numbers of players. Because of the push for a quote-unquote spring practice, what they've evolved to this year is 10 days with unlimited numbers.
Okay.
I'm not a fan of it. I'm not a big proponent.
You like the
of it.
old system?
I do like the old system, primarily because when you are seeking to develop skill, it's easier to do that with limited numbers and unlimited days, because you can target those who require the greatest amount of skill development, whereas if you're limited to 10 days with unlimited numbers, now you have repetitions that have got to be doled out and appropriated out.
Who's getting the reps?
Right.
Yeah.
And so the aspect of skill development in and of itself becomes diluted a little bit. But we're going to be as organized as we can be.
And there's no hitting.
You can't get out there and
helmet and shoulder pads was a full battle rattle.
Well, you
Just
can't
no
go
hitting.
full. We're not a big full dress practice team. We do go shells, shoulder pads, helmets, girdles, and shorts. We do gear it back a lot in practice because we work so heavily on fundamentals. Fundamentals at half to 3/4 speed usually translate to pretty good fundamentals at full speed.
Is there any benefit at all to the new rule?
Well, the greatest benefit is you do have them all for 10 days, and you do have an opportunity to go ahead and set your practice format and get them used to it prior to the beginning of our summer practice. The time of day is really not necessarily what I like. When we start with our summer practice on June 15th, we practice in the mornings.
Right.
Everything that we do, we're done by lunchtime. They get to go. The rest of the day belongs to them.
So you're not a two-a-day, old school Alabama style.
Well, the two-a-days you can do. Two-a-days are made difficult by our situation, primarily because we have had some players at the early college. They do start back the first week of August, which inhibits our ability to have two-a-day practice.
And of course the heat index.
And the heat index. I've done two-a-days. I've been a part of three-a-days. Now, we can't do that. But the two-a-day format you can do. You are limited in a lot of the things that you can do in the two-a-day format. Personally, I feel like if you're organized and you have an effective, efficient plan, you don't necessarily need 2-a-days if you can work your plan efficiently.